All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's August 20th. We're taking a look at, this is ES, but we're taking a look at NASDAQ here. We had that big trend day lower yesterday, a nice expansion move lower down into 23,400. Overnight tested the 23,330 level of interest, and look right where price is. It's right in that fib buy zone from the early August to mid-August rally. So if we take a look and you just take a fib from this low right down here up into here, you're going to find the 50% and the 61% right in this area, which typically longtime viewers will know I call that the fib buy zone. Fib buy zone, you usually see a response from market participants right into that 50% to 61% fib. Now, we also have the monthly volume point of control right through here, as well as the monthly open, just a tad bit lower, that August open. What I'll be watching for this morning and the duration of today is how price responds to the 23,400 level of interest as well as the prior day low. Two primary levels that I'm going to be focused on for today. And the general idea there is that sellers are going to want to show some follow through from yesterday's move down beneath that prior day low, down beneath the 23,400, targeting 23,330 and potentially 23,225 as downside levels of interest. This is all written up in this morning's pre-market prep notes as well. Now, the flip side of that is that typically following a big expansion move, a big trend day, it's not uncommon to have a bit of compression, to have some consolidation. That can manifest in a couple of different ways. One of them being just a tighter range session, more of a range bound session. The other one being a retracement, a partial retracement of the prior trend day move. And that can look like, a push back into 23,500, maybe even a push back into 23,585, which is a pretty significant level of interest in the near term. That's last week's low, as well as yesterday's 50% retracement point as well. So, a couple of different scenarios that I'm going to be looking at for this morning, both of them contingent on how price responds to the 23,400 and prior day low area. That area is my main focus zone this morning. I like to see price kind of moving away from that area, one direction or another. Want to see it get away from this 23,400 from this prior day low area. We can see if we kind of zoom in a little bit, we can see price pretty much just churning between prior day low and 23,400, right? Pretty much you just have a little pre-market range right here from about 3 a.m. with the extended hours volume point of control right in this area. And so I want to see, let's get out of this zone. Let's get out of that area. Leave, leave that area, to put it more simply. So that's my focus for this morning, with two primary game plans based on how price responds to this zone. What else do I need to add here? If we break beneath 23,400, I'll definitely be watching how price responds to that overnight low in that 23,330. See if buyers are gonna be stepping in there, or if we're gonna be looking more so at that downside level down into 23,225. So that is the GP. That's the game plan. Let's take a look at this. Here's that trend day, 5-minute RTH chart. Big trend day move. And again, I like to, anytime we have a trend day move, I like to kind of take the fib. You get some reference points there. Just like that. Where's that 50%? That 50% lines up right there near 585, right? Close enough. Close enough. Within 10 points on an index that is priced at 23,400. So 1 minute, a little more than 1 minute till the open. We do have some Fed speak today. We have FOMC minutes, not to be confused with an FOMC rate announcement, two totally different things. Let's see this open here. Let's see what we're working with. The goal, as always, we're just looking for that A+ setup. We're just looking for the easiest money. That's it. That's all we're doing. That's the whole game plan. Looking to follow our rules, stay disciplined, have good and prudent risk management, not act on our emotions, and overall just be professional with our trading. Can we do that? Can we do that, folks? I think we can. I think we can. There's the open. We're right here at prior day low. Right into PDL. Coming into 400, 23,400. Down beneath 400. So again, acceptance below 400, you know where we're going. You should know where we're going. Sellers want to see that overnight low. Good volume off the open. We had pretty good volume for most of the overnight session. Pretty good, pretty good. There's your retest and reject of 400. Don't always see the levels perfectly to the tick respected. That's pretty nice. So at this point, staying patient, right? Staying patient. I either need action down into the overnight low, which I'm not a big fan of right now based on pre 10 a.m. directional weakness, or need some market structure up above 23,400, up above prior day low. Getting back in at 23,400. And there's your little retest. You got VWAP right in that area. VWAPy. And reject. Unsurprisingly, level of interest with VWAP. Technically within the THT framework, but you got to be on a very low time frame to catch that. Very, very low. Probably need like the 15-second. Little consolidation here. Pretty much in no man's land. This value area low of the overnight extended hour session. Not a spot I want to be setting risk against personally, but just noting that as a reference point. There you go. NQ new low of day. No acceptance with the fresh lows, just right back into this consolidation. Volume kind of tapered down. Not really what you want to see personally. Staying patient here. NQ, no man's land for me. See if 330, that overnight low area wants to trade or not. There's a very slight new low of day. Overnight low is 334.25. Just FYI. There we go. Fresh lows. Anyone catch that 23,400 short? Any takers there? Well, Mish got prior day low. Nice. Wow. Great entry. Jacob got in there. Benny. Steven Allen. There we go. Nice work. Yeah, that prior day low short is solid opening drive. NQ getting into overnight low. Got the 23,330 right through there as well. We'll see if buyers have any interest in that area. Decent little bounce. No spring setup, but a decent bounce nonetheless. See if it just rolls right over. That's the question. And yes, it does. Yes, it does. Give it a little sample. Very, very tight trails. First trade of the day. Intraday reversal versus overnight low. Oh, just right back into the lows. That's why I don't like those. Fading a pre 10 a.m. directional move almost never shows follow through. You can get away with some little scalps here and there like I just did, but looking for big follow through, unlikely. Here's 330. Coming down beneath overnight low. There's our monthly open just as a reference point. Better volume coming in now. It's at least average. That's good. Opening 15-minute bar just closed. Look at it. It's quite bearish. Quite bearish. Free fall mode. Here's the 61% fib from that early August rally. It's the bottom green line there on the chart. ES coming into overnight low. RTY coming into overnight low. Not much for me to do here personally. Just staying patient. Caught the one setup I could trade. Right there. Why'd I change to the channel name? I wanted to. Downside level of interest 225. Yes, sir. You do have the 61% fib right here. So you may get a reaction in that area. We'll see. Not a spot I would set risk against personally, though. More of a reference point. 225, not too far off. Fib buy zone is gone. You can pretty much get rid of that. See ya. See yas. ES down through overnight low, coming into 6,400. NQ's down almost 1% on the day. I think yesterday was, what was that, 1.4%? 1.5-ish, if I remember correct. NQ into 225. See the reaction here, if any at all. I'm more inclined to wait till post 10 a.m. right now. Great volume hitting. 3XR ball. Trailing RTY short. Nice. That was a monster move there. Good work. So let's see how intraday structure develops here near 225 as we get into 10 a.m. Fresh lows right there. NQ. Look at that, really opening up now. I think it's what, 23,100 down beneath this? Yeah, 23,100. Almost highest volume of the sesh on this candle. Yeah, volatility is back. Volatility is back. Yeah, back-to-back trend day moves. Pretty uncommon. Pretty uncommon. See how 10 a.m. is going to look. As volatility increases, make sure you are double checking the width of the structure that you're trading. The charting platforms do such a good job at scaling price that you may not realize you are entering into a structure with a much wider stop than you usually do. So just always double check, especially as volatility increases. Always double check. Mhm. Love to see this volume 3XR vol. Very, very good. Kind of in no man's land here, though. So I'm looking at either 23,100 or 23,225. Ideally, post 10 a.m. It's only 3 minutes away. So maybe the first green 5 minute close of the session, TBD. Still has 2.5 minutes on it. ES is just now into last week's low. What is that? A 200 point move from the 23,400 level of interest and VWAP right there. A little more than 200 points. Wild. Here's 10 a.m. in 1 minute. All right, there's 10 a.m. I'd like to see some better location. In the meantime, just getting my overnight low, little long scalp documented, getting it recorded in the trade log. Make sure you log your trades. Try to catch a falling knife. Oh man. Yeah, that's a recipe for pain right there. Highest volume of the sesh 1 minute ago. 5 minute closed as a doji. It's the first time the 5 minute has looked above prior bar high all morning. So we're looking at that 23,225 area. Biggest winning day in 2 weeks. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Well done. Well done. That's beautiful. All right. Getting into that 225 or post 10 a.m. Yeah, 225 level of interest, as well as 100, 100, both on watch. Both in focus. Almost into 225 on that little bounce there. Rejected. And we're right back into the lows. Looks like a new low of day being made there. All right, let's see this test of 100. Getting close. That area fails. Probably looking at that August 5th low. Almost into 23K. Yeah, that's a pretty classic break and retest right there. Preference, of course, is to see price a little bit closer to the level, but as always, treat the levels like zones. RTY, a nice reject of the overnight low. Almost into 100. It's all good. Me, she had that nice opening drive. Makes up for it. There's 100, 23, 100. There's some wide candles. Double check your risk parameters. Definitely do not need to be the first one in here personally, so just staying patient. So right now, kind of watching this area right through here. Higher time frame zone. Patience, patience, patience. New low of day right there? Looks like it, yeah. Like I said earlier, don't need to be the first one in. If you're trying to pick a low, trying to pick the bottom, let someone else do it. Let the confirmation actually materialize on the chart. Yeah, big volume this morning. Big volume yesterday. Big volume overnight. Big volume so far this morning. Orange here is average. Green is 2 to 3x RVOL. Close to 23K. Yep. Chrissy wants that higher low. Never seen a higher low you didn't like, huh, Chrissy? Need to put that in your bio. Look at your 5 minute. Not even one green 5 minute bar yet. Not even one. Higher time frame stopping power. Now you're speaking my language right there. I I haven't scooped any lows, Chrissy. No, sir. No lows have been scooped. Nada. That was funny though. This is a steamroller I've boarded plenty of times in the past. That's a ticket I'm not purchasing these days, thankfully. Heck yeah, Ray. All right. See that 5 minute now? That looks a little better. Let's see how it closes. So it's 2 minutes. Remember what we said about the 5 minute? Look at that. That's more encouraging right there. Now let's see if 23,100 can continue to hold above. First 5 minute green closure. Now let's see if the 15 can actually follow suit as well. Now we can start to bring that intraday fib, kind of get some reference points as far as the retracement. Your shallow is not till 23,150. Coming into the shallow fib. That'll be a good first clue there. Ray says, look how much easier that looks. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. In fact, let's see what we can do here. Bumping into that shallow fib. There's 23, 150. I'll lift the trail just beneath 130. I want to try and give this one some room. 225 is the upside level of interest. You have that intraday structure right through there as well. That would really be a great target. Kind of right through here. Chrissy. Oh, well, at least he's paying attention. There you go. Oh, you guys are funny. Man, I haven't seen Dom all week. They may have thrown in the towel. Yeah, he called it quits. And cue a little consolidation here near the shallow fib, little fight for price. Still with my trail just beneath 130. There was the trade. Like I said, wait for buyers to actually show up. We talked about that 5-minute hammer. We talked about waiting for a green 5-minute close at the very least. It's not a lot to ask for, honestly. One green candle. You get the green 5-minute closure, and price shows you follow through. Green 5-minute hammer at that. So once I start to see that, I'm just looking for some sort of, here comes my trail. But after I see that, I'm just looking for some sort of microstructure that'll let me get involved somewhere near the level of interest. And you can kind of see that micro higher low right there. Trail's probably going to get taken here. Not bad. Add 30 points to the morning, considering it's a massive downtrend day. And I'm looking for longs. I'd say that's pretty good. There's the trail taken out. We'll take it. We will take that. Now I like to see, can the 15-minute close green? It's currently a doji, still has 90 seconds left, which in a big volatility market is basically an eternity. So we'll see how that 15-minute candle shapes up here. Notice how sellers just reload right there at the shallow fib. They're feeling powerful. Right here, right at the fib. 23% fib. Also, a little bit of intraday market structure right there. Back beneath 23,100. $15-minute did not close green. How's our profile looking? Let's see. High volume node building. For regular trading hours, you have the session volume point of control down here, right at 100. Go figure. High or low, we won't know until there's a change of character. Remember, the primary trend today is a downtrend. So price could do this, right? But you won't know for sure it's a high or low until there's a confirmed change of character. This is what we named the Chrissy trap months and months ago. And case in point, almost into the lows here. The famous higher low that isn't a higher low. I mean, it could be, right? But a higher low typically, that's a term that should be reserved for an uptrend. Now, eventually, prior to the change of character, you are going to have some higher low build out, but how many higher lows do you have to attempt to find the one that actually sets up the change in character? Could be the first one, could be the 10th. All of them. That's how you become Top Step's #1 customer right there. A little more than 1 hour into the sesh. How's everyone's morning? How we doing? Des flat, no trade day. Good discipline, sir. Love it. 2 for 2, green as can be. There we go. Love that. Jason, 2 days in a row now with only 2 trades. Solid. Selectivity, patience, discipline. That's the name of the game right there. Des low key set a few sell and buy orders, but glad I closed them out. What happened there? FOMO? FOMO, then you came to your senses or what? That's good, man. That right there is real-time self-awareness development. That's huge. It doesn't feel like a win probably, but that's a massive win. It's a massive long-term win right there. NQ unable to get above that 23,110 area. Tony, any trades today? Most recently, we just caught this right here, little baby long, little tiny long. And then I had another long near the overnight low. 2 small scalps today. Scroll back if you want to see that other, the overnight low long, scroll back. It's all there. NQ getting into the lows here. See if the lows flush. We get a real test into 23,045, maybe even 23K. That's kind of the zone I'm looking at. If you're joining us late, here it is. All right, NQ new low of day. By the way, good real-time lesson there on the higher low. Look how price resolves lower. So you want to be very, 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 very careful with a higher low within a downtrend. Is that actually a higher low? I don't think so. Not until it's confirmed. And by then it's after the fact. Chrissy is awfully quiet now. I hope he's okay. I know a Chrissy trap when I see one. The fake high or low, yeah, you gotta be careful with those. Don't need that fib anymore. So you won't see a true change of character until that most recent lower high on the 5 minute is broken right there. Intraday change of character can occur right about 150, right about that area. At this point, we really want to see some sort of higher time frame reversal before trying any longs. We're right in the key zone for it on those higher time frames, but you don't, like I said earlier, there's no need to be the first one in. You don't need to try and nail the low. Tough day to long, yeah, absolutely. It's a downtrending day. Like Dallas was talking about earlier, you don't want to be catching those falling knives. NQ new low of day. So starting to get into that August 5th low. I mean, it really opens up beneath this point. If it happens past noon, we would be looking at that. I don't trade past noon anymore. So no. Basically, my setup right now, I did trade afternoon session during April with all the Trump headline stuff because that was like a very rare opportunity. Had some of my best days during that period. Where was I going with this? Oh, my current setup is on the stream. I trade my personal account, self-funded account, and then after the stream, I'll switch over to the XFAs for about 90 minutes or so until around noon, and then whenever I break for lunch, I lock out of everything. Typically, those late afternoon trades historically for me have been my worst performance. So, it's really not even worth it. Commentary's helping out. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I try and try and share some high value or at least, high signal information here. How come you're trading the props separately? I link them all with TradeSyncer. They're all linked except for the XFAs, and that's because I take more B quality setups in the XFAs than I do in my self-funded personal account. So it's a way to kind of expand, almost like expand my opportunity set with what I consider lower risk. But to link all the other props, I use TradeSyncer. Probably give this about 10 more minutes, see if we could get one more trade off, one more setup, maybe around 11 a.m. Look at gold. I've never traded gold in my life. Let's see it. That does look good. Range bound. See that intraday. Wow, good. Nice holds of the prior day high there. That's the sort of action I like, right? I love when I look at a new instrument and the same strategies, the same setups I'd be trading in one thing are working in another. Solid. Little prior day high bounce there. Beautiful. I love it. We should not consider another long until a change of character. That would be honestly best bet. Any longs at this point will be intraday reversal trades, which are considerably more challenging, in my opinion. Just set the reason is because it just sets you up to be catching a fallen knife. The selling has definitely slowed. I mean, price is still pressing session lows, but not quite in the same manner that it was earlier. What I want to see right now is how price responds to the 23K psychological level. Below that, it's really looking like 22,840. If we jump onto a 4-hour chart, you do have some more. I mean, you have a volume point of control and high volume node right through here, right? But look at the area of support down in this zone. So that's where I'd be looking again. That's quite a bit lower, right? So let's get a recap on the retracement from that early August rally. So you do have the 78% retracement right through here as well. Yeah, Jackson Hole on Friday. The level of interest I'm looking at is right through here. This zone between 23,100 and 23,045. We'll give it a little bit of extension down into 23K. But no, it's not from a structural perspective anyway, it's not a true level of interest. There's still that most recent trade management just saving the morning right there. Beautiful. All things considered, pretty happy with that one. Waiting. The key there was really waiting for buyers to show their hand not trying to be the first one in, not trying to nail the low, waiting for more confirmation. And that came via that 5-minute hammer, right? So let's see if we get any setup here near 11 a.m. Otherwise, we'll just call it a morning. Oh yeah, yes, definitely. There's a fine line there. Absolutely. Notice how you get a little flurry of action, right, with that next 30-minute candle opening. Good uptick in volume. Nice volume. So no change of character until that same spot we discussed, 23,150, pretty much right through here. I don't think we've had a single green 15-minute closure this morning. Yeah, we have not. But you can see that the 15-minute really shows how the selling is starting to slow. Yeah, I'm not sure on that about the old Top Step dashboard. Mish might know actually. I know he has some accounts on the old dashboard. So far, that's a pretty nice bounce right from the area we expected. I've not really seen an entry, so no position, but let's see 23,100 now. Okay, 15-minute testing prior bar high. 15-minute through prior bar high into 23,100. Nice bounce. Could not find an entry. Could not find an entry. Darn. 'Good volume here. Anyone find an entry on the bounce? That was a nice push. That was a nice push there. Long 66, Albert. Right at 11. Let's bring back that intraday fib. There's your shallow fib. One of the 30 tests. You want to retest of the lows, Ray? The spring. So last test of that shallow fib, sellers defended. We'll see if they defend here as well. I'm watching 23,100 area. Waiting for that change of character. It's getting pretty close. 23,150. Look at the 15-minute too. First, most likely first 15-minute green close of the morning. 30-minute through prior bar high. Yes, sir. That was a nice move. I could not find an entry I liked. How's our profile looking? Yeah, big high volume node down here. Let's see if this sets up into kind of a late morning base. Late morning range. There's your 15-minute closure. Green. Big time green. And NQ coming into 23,150. See if there's a change of character here. Chrissy, no position, man. I could not find an entry. I'm not like you. I don't buy anything. I don't just buy anything, man. Come on. Trying to get me to chase, aren't you? It's not going to happen. That 11 a.m., huh? We talked about 11 a.m. reversal, 11 a.m. move. That just goes to show that almost every day we talk about analysis versus execution. Analysis, it's not the same thing as execution. Good analysis also does not mean you're going to find an entry. Potential change of character in the works here. Yeah, let's see time above 150 to confirm the change of character. Then you really want to be looking for 225 where that 50% fib is, VWAP right in that area, and some intraday structure. Oh, right through here. Let's take a look at this higher time frame. Look at that. Look at the 2-hour. See an undercut of that August 5th low. Higher time frame spring setup. Don't FOMO, Ray. Don't chase. No FOMO. Don't chase. Yeah, this is pure vertical. There's your 38% fib intraday. What a move. What a move. No entry. Could not find an entry. But that's that 11 a.m. move that we love. No entry taken. No entry found. Would have taken one had I seen it. Almost into that level of interest, 225. We got a thunderstorm outside. Look at that move. 11 a.m. pretty much marks the low, give or take a few points. And from there, it's pure vertical. Little consolidation right through here. So unless you're just buying this, maybe you're buying right here. Meh. My preference would be something like this. Like, give me this entry right there. So now we're looking at the reaction at 225.23, 225 VWAP right here, 50% intraday fib. ES already up in a VWAP, getting into 6,400 level of interest. You have RTY into the overnight low in VWAP. Pretty big recovery across the board. There's your 225 actually trading. Just waiting to see how this 225 VWAP 50% fib area is going to be treated. Then we'll likely call it a morning. See if we get one more setup. Just been patiently waiting for one, potentially one more setup. I mean, the action's been good. We have volume, right? So there's no reason not to continue watching. Volume's there. I mean, look at the volumes. 3x, 3x. Non-stop, non-stop. My goodness. Right up and through 225, right up and through VWAP and the 50% fib. I mean, really above this, you're looking at the 330 level of interest with the overnight low right up into here. That, I mean, it is already looking like a V-shaped recovery, but that would pretty much solidify it. Look at that 2-hour bar versus support. So far, a massive 2-hour hammer. Still has 25 minutes left on it. So another little micro higher low there within this trend. As we get into the 61% fib. Good volume. Man, for time of day, there's amazing volume. Found a little tiny scalp entry right through there. It looks it looks silly in the context of this huge move, but we'll add the 25 points to the morning. Take what I can get there. Sadly, could not find any sort of entry with that 11 a.m. reversal, that 11 a.m. move. That's part of the game, though. Analysis is a very, very different thing than actual trade execution. That's just one of the realities of trading. There's a red 5-minute bar. We'll see how this 15-minute closes here in 4 minutes. Up 391, just need 9 more. Careful with that mentality. I've been there so many times before. You just need a few more dollars to hit some threshold, and next thing you know, your $391 day is now negative 391. Oh man, that's a painful one. That's a tough one, yeah. Mindset. So we had that change of character right above 150, right? But no sort of re-entry, anything like that. Just vertical. Just pure vertical. Which is nice if you're already positioned, but if you're looking for an entry, that's exactly what you don't want to see. If price can break the high of this 5-minute bar, it's probably going to be a move into that overnight low because your 15-minute is going to close bullish again. They had a chance a minute ago to close that 15-minute as a shooting star, show a little bit of exhaustion there. Give it one more little try in there. Just trailed out. Add another 30 points to the morning. All right, Ray, take care, man. I want to see this 15-minute closure. Then I'll likely be wrapping it up as well. $15-minute currently shaped like a shooting star. Let's see how it closes. Now, if sellers can show follow through of that 15-minute, they will be smiling. They will be smiling. All right, folks, I'm going to call it right there. Some good action today, good relative volume. We love to see it. Technical trading. Tricky. The hardest aspect for me today was that 11 a.m. move and no entry. Just watching it go without you. I hate it. I hate it, but you can't give in to the FOMO. You can't give in to the emotions. You just have to let it go. You can't force anything because even though it may work today, what you're doing is you're building a bad habit loop for yourself. And the second you start to do that, you make it more likely that you do it in the future. And in the future, it's not going to pay. It's not going to work, right? So always think about long term. Think about those long term habits. Any action you make can be magnified in the following weeks and months. So a win today, if you chase something, may not be a win long term. You may have to repay the market. That's kind of how I think about it anyway. People will say like, "Oh, you missed the trade, you missed the move," but I didn't miss anything because there wasn't an entry. So I did not miss anything. So that's the thought process. Hope you guys had a good one. Hope you caught some of this action today. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank here as always. But I'm going to call it a morning there and take a little break here. So thank you guys for your time. Pretty long stream today. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. We'll keep it going in the think tank. We'll be live tomorrow morning as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk to you later. Take care.